Welcome to Warframe, where we have split flames like Equinox, where they had night and days forms, or flames like Gauss, well, more like Gauss, who's basically like Accelerate from Ben 10, the OG that is, or the one frame within the game that has the best synergy in the game and is basically a fountain energy, and that being Harrow. Harrow was released in the Chains of Harrow update, or update 21, and for the most part, Harrow was well received by the community when he was first released. While being one of the best Warframes in terms of having the best ability synergy in the game, though Harrow is somewhat of a high maintenance Warframe, so in order to get the most of his kit, it will take a bit to get the ball rolling and be able to maintain it for a long time, even in endless missions or in solo. But within a squad, while not a major issue, it can lead to a slight hindrance, but Harrow's abilities can also support the team. By giving out free energy and health on kill, and buffing all allies with iframes with increasing critical chance. But that didn't stop him from being one of the main hunters for the Eidolon hunts back in the day. In short, because Covenant gave all allies iframes within range, it would protect everyone in the squad from the Eidolon magnetic attack while also giving out free energy on kills. But unfortunately, Harrow is not being used during the hunts nowadays. It doesn't mean he's not that strong anymore, it's more sort of a meta ship where obviously every now and then we get a new Warframe that might be better or even a better choice, or someone realized that previous Warframes can do the same job or other jobs better. And aside from that, Harrow was one of the few Warframes that get their own side quests when they were released. But Harrow's quest was quite the unique one. And unlike previous Warframe quests like Chroma, Mirage, and Limbo to name a few, as the chain of Harrow quests is connected to or involved with the current event of Warframe. And that's where Leon comes in.
Where's everyone going? Bingo?
Well, mostly for the fact that Leon was able to see Rel in a philosophical sense, while not being actually real, to Leon, it felt real. Also for the fact that he's able to see other Harrows that are statue-like, which goes on how Rel became lost within an endless void of these unmovable statues. That, and he also felt when, during at the end of Chains of Harrow, Leon felt Rel's essence fading away, which kind of fucking sad, I'm not gonna lie. Like, knowing that he felt to him like a brother, like being cast away and this and that in the quest, and even behind the lore of it, still, fucking hell, man. Bro, give him some fucking red wine, I think he'll enjoy that. Give him some fucking yellow kangaroo, that'll cheer him up. Harrow Prime was released in the New War update, or update 31, alongside his signature weapon, the Scourge Prime and the Nail Prime, but also given some slight changes and added new benefits. Like for the fact that Harrow now gains a preparation mod built into his passive, meanwhile getting more total shield, he now gains 4 energy on every start of the mission. And for the slight changes like Condemn now scaling with range, Penance giving some health while sacrificing shields, and Thurible being able to charge a lot more energy now. So for the most part, Harrow's abilities are straightforward, but in saying that, Harrow casts a hurriedly change of energy in a set path depending on the player's direction. Enemies hit by Condemn are locked in place for a set duration and restores the player's shield, which is based on ability strength. Another thing to mention is that Condemn is a one-headed cast ability. This means you can still shoot while casting the ability. Also, when gaining shield back, the player is also able to gain an overshield thanks to Harrow's passive. Another thing is, if casting the ability above 10 meters in the air, then Harrow will be pushed down to the ground in order to cast the ability. But if under 10 meters, then Harrow can cast Condemn while at mid-air, but it will force the ability to be at grounded level. Tribunal is an odd mod in the sense that using the mod while in solo mission is a waste of mod space, but being within the squad sounds like a nice benefit, as instead of relying on the person that is playing as Harrow to trigger the effects from Penance and Thurible, so anyone from the squad can trigger the effect, as long as the enemies are chained beforehand. Then we come to Harrow's darkest theme ability, and probably the most fucked ability within the game, in terms of theming that is, but I digress. Casting Penance will cause the player to lose their shields while getting an increased fire rate and reload speed, but also gains health from dealing damage, which also applies to all nearby allies within affinity range, which is nice. The only downside to using Penance is that only the Harrow within the squad can trigger the health on damage effect, which can be annoying if the squad is relying on the set Harrow to do the damage. And there's some notes I want to mention about casting the ability. The first is the player will be stopped in place in order to cast Penance, and that having more shields means Penance will last longer, with the cap being 120 seconds. Alright, future googly man here. The reason I'm here for is I've been told about Penance. Now, in the video, I would have mentioned that Penance gives you both increased fire rate and reload speed. But apparently by Xenofire, or Xenos Fire, it basically said that apparently, not only will it increase your fire rate and reload speed, apparently it also increases your melee speed. So obviously, I obviously got a speed mode for my melee, so if I do this, that's the normal speed, but if we use Penance, in theory, what the fuck? Okay, this should be alright. Okay, so if I do this again, you're gonna be fucking shitting me. Alright, well, okay. Fucking, well. Fucking, sure. Shout out to fucking Xenos Fire for giving me this hidden fucking information. Cool. Wish I fucking knew this earlier. Now for Harrow's best ability within his kit, Thurible. When casting the ability, Harrow brings out his Thurible and begins to swing around him. While he chants, Harrow begins to generate energy. Now the thing is that Thurible is a channel ability, meaning it will keep using your energy until either the player stops the ability or outright uses up all the energy. But in saying that, the more energy it uses up, the more the player will receive back, which there is an indicator of how much the player has generated currently, and then once the player has stopped the ability earlier or used up the entire energy, for every kill that the Harrow within the squad gets, it will generate the set amount of energy per kill. But if the player were to get headshot instead, then the amount of energy would be 4 times the amount of the set amount of normal kills. But the downside to this ability is that Harrow can only trigger the effect, meaning if playing within a squad, then all allies has to be within Harrow's range in order to get the buff. So, Wandering Thurible might be the worst augment within Harrow's abilities, but in saying that, the augment makes it where any allies within range will take 50% less damage while Thurible is being channeled and gives 1.0 of energy per damage taken. That goes for all allies within the squad and Harrow himself, and things like defensive objectives and a few others I can think of, like the Island Lures, and a couple more, but those are the things I can think of off the top of my head. Though, you can increase the damage reduction by 90% by 180 or 230% strength. What the fuck? Did I write that down? Fucking god damn it. But the main problem is that Harrow can only activate the damage reduction while channeling Thurible, So overall, it's not worth using this augment, and you're better off just using Tribunal instead. We are now finally at Harrow's main source of damage, Covenant. Now there's quite a few things to go through while still being simple to understand. Starting with the first phase, when cast, Harrow will be chained up and will break free out of his shackles. And after the animation is done, Harrow and his allies will be invulnerable to all damage for a set duration, within an affinity range, and any damage taken will be converted into in critical chance. Now for the second phase. Once the Warframe is over, then both Harrow and his allies near him will be given the retaliation buff, giving Harrow and all his allies a slight increased critical chance for a set duration, but being longer than the first phase. But the max critical chance Harrow can grant is 50% on body shot, but headshot gets a massive bonus cap of 200% on critical chance. Not much to say about lasting Covenant, but while it sounds great being able to have the retaliation buff basically forever as long as you keep getting headshots, I personally don't see the benefits of using this mod. But I think this mod would work best with a critical base build. And what I mean is that using weapons that have high critical status chance, as in like a weapon that has both high critical damage and critical chance, which not only would it help with maintaining the retaliation buff for a long duration of the mission, but overall, it isn't a bad mod, just a mod that doesn't fit my playstyle. But again, it can fit again with like a full-on crit build. Also, I should probably mention what I mean by a crit build, as in like having a loadout that's just based on having high crit. Alright, time for the build as usual. Starting with the shards, I've got a casting speed, 2 shoot capacity, and 2 durations. As always, casting speed is always just a massive benefit from any Warframe in the game. Duration shots to help with like extend Covenant and these other abilities, just a smidge, because Harrow really loves having high duration to keep the ability to last longer. Now, a thing to mention. You do absolutely do not need these 2 blue shards for shoot capacity. I only have it because obviously it works well with Penance. I mean, you obviously get more effect out of it. So it does scale with strength, but you know, it's there, and plus it just gives it more survivability in a sense. So there's that. But if you don't want blue shards in your build, on your Harrow build, you can go with like just extra shards for either strength, or hell, even for a second casting shard, which would just make him even more ridiculous. Alright, now for the outro build. So just to go for a few things, we're using Brief of Sight, which I find this has helped a lot with Harrow's abilities, and we're using Fast Reflection, as in it helps recharge his shield way faster. Also we got Adaptation, just for extra survivability. A few things to keep in note: you don't need Prime Redirection. You can go with normal reduction, or how you, if you really want, you can go with Prime Vigor. I'm pretty sure there's parallel answer, but you can use this mod if you want extra health too. So there's that. Or if you want to stack them up together, that's absolutely up to you. But a thing to keep in mind is that you kind of need. Well, okay. There's some ways like this. If you're doing solo play, you probably don't need much range. Again, the reason you need is like just about this amount of range is because you need to kill enemies within the set range with Thurible, because otherwise you don't get your energy on kills. That's why I have it. But if you're playing with squad all the time, probably having just a little more range will definitely help more. So like you can just take out Intensify for that, or Augur Reach, which that'll be fine. Other than that, in terms of arcanes, it's just preference. I've got Arcane Angus, which helps me restore my shield, and I've got Arcane Blessing, which increases my health in total. Though you could go obviously with like more augment for more strength, but this is my preference. Though I have been told if you use Ice Storm, which gives you more strength and duration, apparently Condemn counts as that, but I think what was told is that it has to be, you have to kill them first to trigger the arcane. Because it's weird because it's not an ice type, you know, it says like ice effect, but apparently it's works on 2. I haven't tested myself, which not sure if I will, but that's about it. Again, you can change how you want, because again, it's always up to preference how you want it. Again, is this the best build? Absolutely fucking not. It's just a build I've just been running for quite some time, so there's that. Okay, so now this is the part where I usually show up where to get base Harrow, or yeah, just like base Harrow's part. Now, there's quite a bit to go through, because I actually never know how to actually get the other parts. The only thing I know how is get the chassis part, which is just you get the chassis part just from killing Voidfisher corrupt enemies, which basically just like just doing Voidfisher missions will get you the part regardless. Like you just keep doing it and you'll get the chassis no matter what. The system and the neurotic other hand, I actually never knew. Now, to get the system, there's two locations you can get this. One is being on the Kura Fortress, and if you do the survival, which is something like this, that gets you one of the locations. And then the worst one, which I do not recommend doing, despite having, I believe, more by, no, is it more high chance? Oh, technically it is on the tier 1 defection. So one of the locations you can get for the system is at Phobos, and it's at defection. Now, again, I would not recommend doing this because this is probably the worst missions to fucking do. And my personal second worst missions I hate, personally, is Interception, which is basically just domination. But in order to get the neuroptics, we have to go back to the Kura Fortress. Now, this is the one I would actually recommend doing. Now, to get the neuroptic, you can either do the survival mission or you can do the spy mission in Pago. The thing is this, while the survival mission has a 12% chance of getting, which is in a rotation C. Oh, what is it? Rotation C? Yeah, rotation C. But I would actually recommend doing this. That way you get both the system and the neuroptics. And plus, if you manage to get one here for a Fisher, oh, that's the wrong one. From a Fisher here, whether it be Steel Path and non-Steel Path, that is a complete bonus then, because that means you get a chance of getting 3 of them in one go. Though again, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to get all 3 of them. It just means, you know, the chance of getting all 3 parts there. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why Harrow's parts has to be like this, but as always, you're just better off just getting the prime version of Harrow, which it will be just a lot easier. But yeah, there's that.
show you fucking joy, boy.
Oh, go on. Go on, motherfucker. Go on.
Come on.
Go on, gun. Okay. That you know what? That was a safe one. Okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Get those fuckers.
Thanks for watching.